I've noticed recently, well actually not recently, since last year, beginning of last year, because I remember having a conversation with a friend of mine about it, that the fact that YouTube, it feels like YouTube is shifting, and with that shift it means that there's a lower barrier to entry if you're a new YouTuber, if you're coming to YouTube from having no experience whatsoever, not having a channel but actually wanting to create content. And I think that that's a really good thing, because from the last couple of days reading through threads, there are so many people that have felt put off starting a YouTube channel because it seems hard, and that's because of not necessarily knowing how to edit, not necessarily knowing how to use camera gear to get the best quality, the absolute best quality, lighting, all that kind of stuff that kind of makes a video look polished. And I think that with this shift that's happening on YouTube, you don't need that. And if you're coming to YouTube having no experience whatsoever, it is possible to start a channel and actually succeed with it. And this isn't from creating low effort content, but from creating content that isn't polished but still provides value. So I've seen a lot of channels where people will be sitting in their car or in a room on the way to the shops and they're just talking. But the value that they deliver in those videos is so profound that it doesn't matter that there are no cuts, there's no B-roll, there's no motion graphics, there are no titles on the screen, because the message is so important. And I think that if you're coming to YouTube in 2025, or I don't know what it's going to look like a year from now, but now, and you have something to say and you have something to share, it doesn't matter if you're not good at editing, because you can sit down or go out and about, talk to the camera and put across whatever it is that you want to in a way that people will want to watch. And because you're just coming at this with this real, raw, authentic part of yourself, people will relate to you, and your personality, your true personality, will come across on camera. So I do think that there is still room for the highly polished videos. I love watching those sometimes. I like to just sit down and watch a video that has been carefully crafted and has been scripted and has had an amazing story behind it. But there are some times that I just want to sit down and I just want to hear what someone has to say, as if they were just talking to me face to face and imparting some knowledge or sharing something that they learned or helping me figure something out by just talking to me about a problem that they had and how they figured it out. And so I think that if you are looking to get into YouTube, then that is definitely a way that you can succeed. But going back to the low effort, it's not a low effort video as long as you are still providing value. There has to be something there. It's not going to be good enough to say, okay, I don't have to put any effort into my video, I don't have to have fancy edits, I can just sit down and I can just talk about whatever I want. There still needs to be something there. And I read a post on Threads over the weekend where someone was saying how I might have this wrong, I can't remember it specifically, but the whole notion was that if you want to show, for example, someone your morning routine, there has to be something in that morning routine that would make people give a shit about what you actually want to say and want to share. Because if you're just showing your morning routine and there's nothing attached to that that is going to help somebody else in some way, then no one is going to watch it, apart from maybe your family. There has to be a reason for you to create that, for somebody to want to get something out of it. And so in that respect, thinking about these videos where you are just going to sit down and talk, there has to be something that you're giving to somebody. But yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting time on YouTube this year, just to see what channels are coming up and how the landscape does really shift. It's It's exciting. So if you are on the fence about whether or not to start a YouTube channel and you have a good phone, or the Pocket 3 like I'm using at the moment, or an action camera or anything, you don't have to go out and buy yourself a massive, great big setup and try and figure out how to use it. You can literally just use your phone, turn it on and start talking, or get something like the Pocket 3. Because the quality isn't just coming from the visuals, but also from what it is that you're saying and what it is that you're sharing. So just start. This is your sign to start today. If you've been wanting to start, this is the day.